Once a month, I meet with friends I've known since high school. While listening to the girls enthusiastically talk about their lives, I smile and remain quiet, like the English lord who didn't speak until he was 16 years old, before the porridge burned. What should I talk about? The parent-teacher meetings. The housekeeper. Thermage, La Mer cream, and hyaluronic acid. My job is to take care of myself, and I do so out of habit. And why do I put so much effort into it? Why do I endure waxing and anti-cellulite massages? I'm sure if I stopped wearing lipstick one day, the last person to notice would be my husband. At the same time, I realize that drastically changing my life, getting divorced and starting over is foolish. To feel like a woman again, a fling would be enough. But with whom? For reputation and money, the law of accumulation applies. Once a critical mass is reached, both start to work for themselves. Over the years of our happy marriage, my husband and I have developed a certain immunity to each other. Admittedly, this is mutual. There is something defeatist about having an affair with a colleague, friend's husband or former classmate. While there is a risk of rumors and gossip spreading, I'm surprised by how calmly I went through the scenarios and worked out a strategy. I waited for a business trip to Europe and packed translucent lingerie, Louboutin stilettos, and a bottle of Miramistin in addition to my usual business suits. During the preparation process, the affair turned from an adventure into a project for me. This is not the feeling I had expected. But without it, I probably wouldn't have completed my plan. We can only wait. At breakfast at the hotel, I noticed a well-dressed gentleman. He looked like a businessman from Asia. He contrasted with the overweight Germans and Britons who were actively eating in the restaurant. The Buddha, however, ignored me and only smiled at his food. By the evening, my business was done and I had the next day free. I could have stayed in bed until lunch or gone to the pool, but something drove me to the restaurant again. This time, my just-out-of-bed appearance was noticed. The Buddha looked up from his eggs and studied me for a long time. Then, as we met in the lobby, he offered to show me around the city. We had a great day. He played the role of a tour guide, and I pretended not to know he was quoting a guidebook. His lack of questions about my husband or children made up for his awkward compliments. In our parallel world, where I was young, beautiful, desired, and free, we had a memorable day. In the evening, we had dinner at the hotel and returned to my place. At home, as I was thinking about my devious plan, I became terribly worried about the details. How to lure him to the room. How to put on a condom without ruining the romance. Should I turn off the lights or not? And most importantly, what if I wake up in the morning next to a stranger? But, apparently, the outsider had experience in these matters. It all happened simply and naturally, in the dark. There were no silly endearments, and I woke up alone in the morning. We missed each other at breakfast, and there were no notes, flowers, calls, or business cards with phone numbers. The Buddha tactfully disappeared, leaving me with not only a beautiful memory, but also the feeling that what happened was an erotic dream, and nothing actually happened. There was no regret, which I had expected. There was also no particular desire to return to my family. It's like after a romantic encounter, someone wants warmth and affection, while someone else wants to be left alone. 3.5 hours later, as the plane landed in Los Angeles International Airport, that mood remained. My husband greeted me. We always tease each other. The more challenging, the better. This time, he asked, "How was your trip? Did you meet anyone interesting?" I chose the tried and true method of attack is the best defense. Yes, my love. Young, handsome, rich? No, actually. An interesting middle-aged Asian. Was he good in bed? 4+, actually. Then what? I was late for an event. You're joking. I was tempted to answer, I'm serious. But caution won out, and I said, what do you think? Instead, I hid in my husband's armpit, so that I wouldn't make eye contact, just in case. He seemed to think for a few seconds about whether I could cheat on him, the best husband, lover, and father in the world. I thought about it for the first time, and decided that it couldn't happen. But this idea excited him for a while. He would suggest going to a Chinese or Japanese restaurant, with an innocent expression, then try to eavesdrop on my phone calls, and look over my shoulder while I was chatting on Facebook. I, in turn, watched with interest as my husband read a detective story, ate a sandwich, talked on the phone, and I asked myself, if we hadn't lived together for all these years, if I met this man for the first time, would I have liked him? And I realized that, yes, I probably would have. I even remember getting jealous of him, as if it were him who had cheated on me, instead of me. A year has gone by since that moment. I have no regrets, but I know there will be no more adventures like that in my life.